Hey everybody, it's Rachel with the Rachel Q Stitches and welcome to my channel. Today is Tuesday, May 9th, 2023, and this is FlossTube number 105. Thank you so much for joining me. I woke up this morning to 1,400 subscribers. Wow, thank you all so much. So if you're new here, this is a channel mostly about cross stitch. Every now and then, and probably more so in the next couple of weeks, I will throw in other stitchy goodness like quilting or crochet, which is rare. I do have crafty hauls, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that at the end, but today it's mostly cross stitch. And if you're a returner, thank you so much for stopping by, coming back, visiting with me. I know that there are tons of FlossTubers out there that you could watch. So the fact that you stop every week, every other week, depending on when I film, and watch and comment, it really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. So like I said, this is a channel mostly about cross stitch, and so we're gonna get into the cross stitch. I last filmed 2 weeks ago, so I'm starting to get back into my routine of when I film and when I don't film, and when I can stitch and when I can't stitch. For those of you that don't know, my oldest son and his wife had a baby 3 weeks ago. They do live with us, so that's why I'm trying to get back into the routine of stitching. Just trying to figure out, I was helping my daughter-in-law. She had a C-section, so I was kind of helping her, and so we're reestablishing a routine. So hopefully I can get back into filming more often. But if you've been here a very long time, you do know that my husband is a teacher, and so summers are also very up in the air over how often I film. But I try to film every week, but it hasn't been so the past couple of weeks. So anyway, that's my rambling. I think I said I was going to get into cross stitching, and I never did. So let's look at what I've been stitching. So I am stitching Amid Amish Life. This is a 25/7 piece. This is a piece that was originally in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine in 1986. It was a three-panel. It came in 3 parts, but you were supposed to stitch them as 3 separate panels. A lot of people stitch them as one, and this is one that I found online over what it's supposed to look like as a one panel. And I have finished panel 1. Last time I showed y'all, yay! Panel 1 is done, and so I'm on panel 2. I have lots of little hanging threads everywhere. I don't park my threads, I do waist knots, and so that's what you'll see here. But this is what I got done. So look at that. I have a wagon, little Amish wagon right there. I started stitching on that. I did a lot of the grass down here. I'm doing this on a 36 count blue something. Not sure. I bought it when I first got back into cross stitch, never used it, and it was the perfect size for this. So this is what I got done. I'm going to try to do what I mostly did when I did panel 1, and that is back stitch as I go. There is a lot of back stitching on here. But there it is. Look at that. So we had a farm when we lived in Tennessee, and right here, you can see this little spot right here. There's going to be a sign, and I think it says, I don't know, it's an Amish last name, farm. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the name of our farm that we had in Tennessee. So there it is. So pretty. I love it. This piece right here, even though I had tried a couple of full coverages, I think maybe 1 or 2 before, this piece really, I don't know, even though it's not full coverage, it really kind of got me into really being brave enough to try a full coverage. I'm filming early this week. My daughter texted me yesterday. She says, hey, I'm coming over to visit tomorrow morning. I'll be there around 10, and that's usually when I film. So I was like, oh, nice. Okay. Of course, she could sleep late and not show up. You never know. Anyway, so the next thing I stitched on, May is a hard month for me. first of all, it's Mother's Day. And if you don't know, I lost my mom 5 years ago. And it'll be 5 years, May 28th, which is actually 2 days before my birthday. And so May is just a hard month. You know, we have a lot of birthdays. And so it's trying to figure out when we do everybody's birthdays and then all of these emotions from losing my mom. And then this year we are dealing with a Mother's Day without my husband's mom. And so May's hard. So May started up and I was just missing my mom. And I started this piece kind of as an honor to my mom. In fact, Shelly, Proverbs 31:22 has a hashtag. And I'm going to try to write it down below, but it's basically if you stitch a piece in memory of your mom. And if you've been with me, you've known that I've stitched several pieces in memory of my mom. I love hydrangeas. My mom loves the color blue. So when I saw this as a free chart on the Artisy website, it's no longer free, so don't go looking for it free, but it is a mini chart and Artisy is reasonably priced. This is it right here. This is Mini Hydrangea Garden Game. And I'm stitched this when I start to miss my mom. This is my missing my mom piece. I'll be stitching it a while, I'm sure. The last couple of weeks when I've been stitching my full coverage, I did not, I don't know where I put my papers. I did not stitch, I didn't keep track of how much I stitched. So I'm kind of lost with that. And so I'm hoping to get back into that. But I'll show you what I got done. This is it right here. So I'm using kind of the method that Stitchin' Mommy uses. And I go along the top. I pick a color and I stitch as much as I can along the top or down. And so that's just what I do. I pick a color and I stitch. And then probably what I'm going to end up doing is once I go all the way across, which, like I said, it's not a huge piece. This is on an 18 count, so it's really not that big. I think what I'll do is I'll go like, try to fill in all the top 10 up here and then, you know, say, oh, this color's missing. Let me stitch as much as I can in that and repeat that whole typewriter process. So when it zings to this end, I'll bring it back to the right here and just keep working my way across and down at the same time. So that's my method. I don't know if Stitchin' Mommy invented it, thought it up, made it up, but I really like that method. And so I've just been kind of doing it. So that's it right there. Lots of blues. And so pretty. I love hydrangeas. Okay. So the next thing I stitched is my the Cross Stitch Studio Mystery Stitch Along. It's called I think it's called In the Garden. I am still, it started in January. There's 2 parts that release a month, and I'm on part 2, and we're in May. But I'm taking my time stitching it. And what I do is I stitch one part at a time and kind of the same method, except I pick a color and I complete it. Most panels have, I think at the most 200 stitches per color. So I'm able to just complete it. So this is what I got done. So right here starts a lot of pinks. So I am working on finishing all these golds and browns up here, and then I will start in the pinks right there. And from what I can tell, what other people have done, you know, the flower grows bigger, and then of course you come down here and you're going to have more of the golds. So that's what I'm doing. I've been tempted to pick up this part right here and stitch down, but I think I'm just going to work across. I don't see an obvious line. I don't, so I don't know, but that's what I got done. So again, I'm just pick a color, and like I said, most of them, like I think last night it was like 60 stitches that I had to do in one particular color. So I just did it in one night. So it didn't take me long. So that is the Cross Stitch Studios Mystery Stitch Along, which I think now it's too late to join, but that's what that is. Okay, the next one is one of my 3 Focus on a finishes for the year. Those are 'Tis the Season by Blackbird Design, City of Romance by Stitch Rovia and Christmas Garden by Blackbird Design. So this month I'm focusing on Christmas Garden, and if you've been with me, you will notice that I changed my mind, and I think I've reached this is what I'm going to do, because right now I can't go back. So this is it right here, and you will see I am not doing the words. I went ahead and turned the corner and made it shorter, so there will be no words at all in the bottom, no name, nothing. It'll just be the stitching, the motifs, whatever. I know I said that I was going to work on this part right here, but I had to stitch down to okay, hold on, let me fold it up. Okay, I was gonna work on this part right here, but I had to stitch down so that I could have a reference point, and I just kept stitching. Turned the corner, did my border, and so I've decided that this month I'm gonna finish up the border, the whole border, and then when I pick it up again, unless I finish it sooner this month, then I'll start working on the motifs. Now, I have a question. I had started stitching this right here as a reference point, but if you see, this is going to come across right here. I don't know if I should leave that. I'm not sure. I think what I might do is wait to the very end, finish the border, start working on the motifs, and then decide if I want to put that. I don't know if I want to do like a double border on it. Let me see. Okay, there it is. See what I mean? That little piece right there. I think it's going to be too close. That was my original reference point. This is what I was going to use to stitch the vase that's right there. And so I'm sorry, y'all. I can't find my book, so I don't have a picture of it. But I don't know. What do y'all think? Would y'all leave that? I'm tempted to tear it out. So anyway, so here it is. Christmas Garden without the words on the bottom. I originally started with this with the Contented Stitcher Kim. She's done finished it, but I'm not a huge sampler lover, but this really makes me like them. Okay, sorry. My daughter-in-law came in to fix something for the baby. Anyway, so I'm back. So that is Christmas Garden. I made the decision not to stitch the alphabet on the bottom, the words on the bottom, because I just could not decide what I wanted to do, you know. So I just said, you know what, I'm not going to do anything. So I didn't feel like charting out letters to do our last name. None of that. I don't even think I'm going to put the initials in it. There's spots in it for initials. And there are 5 spots, and there are 5 people. There were, when I started this, 5 people in my family, but now we have more, and I don't want to leave people out. So there it is. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. I might throw in an extra little motif, but I don't know. I think it looks good. So hopefully this month I can finish the border and maybe start one of the motifs and get this thing finished by the end of the year. That's my goal. Okay. The next one is a new start, and I mentioned, I think my last video, that I was going to start this, and that is Enchanted Rachel by Teresa Gil, and I am doing this because of the name, and it is my birthday month, so this is a birthday month start. I love her designs, and somebody, I look it up, but it's on my phone. Somebody messaged me on Instagram. If you're the one, let me know down below. And she showed me her Enchanted Rachel, and she said that it's more coral than pink. So hers looks beautiful. And anyway, I do want to tag you. So if that is you, let me know, and I'm going to tag you next week if you want to be tagged. If you don't want to be tagged, just let me know, and I'm fine with it. But that's it right there. Okay. So I decided to do this on 18 count Aida. I dyed some fabric in, I don't have a bottle, charcoal gray, but I only left it for 10 minutes. I did wet the fabric first, and I need to write which one's weighs the top before I forget. Anyway, I was able to import this chart in the Pattern Keeper. The other Teresa Gil that I have, this one had a full-size chart, you know, for people that use it on mobile phones or whatever. So when I put it in the Pattern Keeper, I was able to delete the other charts and just keep the one big chart. In other words, it's not divided over pages. And that imported perfectly. All I had to do was import the numbers, and that was fine. I'm okay with that. But my my chart that is by Teresa Gil, that's the Queen Elizabeth in her coronation gown, does not have a single chart. I need to maybe check the downloads on Etsy and see if there is one. And so it doesn't import very well. It doesn't, it's not Pattern Keeper compatible, so I have to do it as a PDF. So anyway, but this one imported, and so I am using Pattern Keeper. So this is what I have started. This is 100 stitches. Not a whole lot, but I'm hoping to get 1,000 stitches by the end of the month. And I did this in one day. It was just block, you know, lines of color. And so that is the start. I started in the middle, and that's it. So yeah, so this is dyed by me. It's supposed to be gray, and it has a purple hue to it, which I don't mind. I like the purple, but this is 10 minutes in charcoal gray. Not as gray as I wanted it, but I like it. So that's my new start. Okay, this last piece, I am thanking, accusing Stitching Mommy for making me pull this piece out. I love watching Stitching Mommy. I love her pieces. I love the way she stitches. I love the fact that she stitches a lot of full coverage and a lot of her pieces on high count fabric. And, you know, you look at her full coverage and you normally see them by other people and they're huge, and you see them by her and they're like this big, you know, because she stitches like on 40 count. She stitches 28/1. And so I messaged her on YouTube. I commented on one of her videos and I said, I just love the way you do that. I need to get brave to do it. And she said, see what your eyes can handle. Start with 25 count. So I was like, oh, I'll do that. And I thought, wait a minute. I have a piece that I started on 28 count, 1/1. Let me pull it out and see what happens. I started it. I got frustrated with it because I think what I was doing is I was pulling my stitches a little too tight. So anyway, we are talking about this castle whose name I am not going to attempt to say. I know it ends in Stein, but that's about it. This is by Artisy. I believe I got this free off their Facebook group. It is on 28 count, easy grid, 1/1. And I pulled out the Stitching Mommy method, and I did the typewriter method. Now, I started this in the bottom right. So instead of going across the top for the typewriter method, I'm going across the bottom. So you'll have to forgive my little waste threads everywhere. But this is what I got done. Now, when I stopped, I was about right here. And so I just sat down. Now, a lot of this is 310. So we're talking not having to change my threads very often. But I did it. I went ahead and moved on. So this is my full coverage focus for the month of May. So I'm just going to try to get 1,000 stitches in this and see how it works. I started keeping track of this, so I know about how much I have. And so anyway, this is Stitching Mommy's fault. Thank you for pushing me, encouraging me to try it. I love it. I love the count. I love the size that it's going to make it. The 1/1 is a little rough for me, but since I do use a waist knot, I'm not overly concerned about not being able to use loop start. But there it is, a bunch of 310. Lovely, lovely. I'm so excited about that. So that's all the stitching I have. I am going to show you a very small portion of a haul. I went to my local creative reuse store, and apparently a former cross-stitcher, I think she was more needle pointer, donated a bunch of stuff. Not a bunch, but some stuff. And so as I was leaving this place, I was talking to the lady, and she was like, thanks for coming, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I said, you know, I'm glad you're here. And I just kind of talked to her about a store we had in Nashville that was the same. And I told her, I said, look, I said, I have a YouTube channel. And she stopped me and she said, you're her. And I said, what? She said, I had a lady from Alabama. So Shelly, I'm wondering, was that you? She said she came from Alabama, and she said that she saw my store mentioned on social media and she had to come. And she said she saw her mentioned on YouTube, I think she said, and she had to come check out the store. And she said, thank you so much for mentioning me. So next time I go, I'm going to ask her if I can do a small video just showing you her store, how it is. I love it. It's very small. It's not as big as some of the creative reuse stores that I've seen around, but I do like it. She had gone up on her prices, but recently she's come back down. And I don't know. I think sometimes it depends on who's working there, on what the prices are. Okay, I'm babbling. So let me show you a little bit of what I got. Not everything. Some of the things I got, I did purchase to resell. And if you know me, you know that I do resell some things. So I won't talk about those a whole lot. I'm going to mention the few things that I was really excited about getting. First of all, this person donated a ton of floss. And she sells her floss for 25 cents a skein. So I found all the skeins that were mostly full. What I felt was 25 cents worth. And yeah, I have a lot of floss. I'm not even going to show it to y'all. It's a lot. So I did get some needlepoint canvases. Those are the things that I will be selling. But there are two things especially. One was a bag. No, there's three things. I'm not going to show it to you because it's just a bag of mixed finished pieces, partially finished pieces, mostly smalls, a couple little ornaments that are super cute, and a book. And they were just shoved into one thing. The other thing I got was this right here, and it was a kit, and it was $3. And I could see from the back side of it, I've repackaged it, that it was a Taya Governor piece. Now, Taya Governor, I heard about from Judy, the city stitcher. She is stitching Jerusalem. Now, I couldn't tell what the piece was because she does taper things closed. And so it was really, really hard to tell what it was. But I can tell it had been started and it was $3. So I thought, you know what? Let me get it and see what it is. So this is actually what I saw. So I wasn't actually sure exactly what it was. I was really hoping it was one of the flowers, but it's not. But it is this. So I thought it'd be cute in the kitchen, something to work on, something to finish. And so everything's in there, all the fluffs, the chart, and the partially begun piece, which I'm thinking somebody bought this on clearance at Hobby Lobby because it does have a Hobby Lobby clearance tag of $6. And I'm thinking they started it and realized they did not like cross stitch because this is their start. There it is. So I think by the time I finish this, it'll be all my piece. So that's it right there. So that was exciting. You know, like I said, for $3, it was a good piece. I felt it was. I've always wanted to try one of her charts. I do know that she uses DMC, but she doesn't give you the number of DMC that you're using. Okay, and the other thing was this. Look at this price tag. This is what it is. Now, I saw this and I said, okay, this looks like a partially complete quilt top with some scraps. And so I picked it up. I threw it in my bag. And I got in the car and I told my husband I want to open up this bag. And so I started opening it up and he was like, are you kidding me? So this is what it is. It is quilt blocks. All quilt blocks. Now you'll see right here, Flo's name is on here. Now I recognize these fabrics because these are fabrics my mom made my quilt out of. Elva in 87. Look at that. Okay, so all of these are different, and all of them have a name with either 87 or no year. This is, y'all, this is Flo's. Look at that. That's hand stitched. That's all hand stitched. Flo didn't have a machine apparently. But this one made by, oh, here we go. Naomi, 87. Naomi had a machine. Okay, so these are all the quilts, the blocks. It's a stack, y'all. They're all done. They're all done. They're all signed. Some are hand, some are machine. Most are machine. Oh, this is another hand-pieced one. So I'm glad my husband likes funky history because inside this bag, along with all of these blocks, and I'm going to show you all the blocks, was a history of this quilt. And apparently in my area, there was a group of women, I'm assuming in 87, 86, 87, which by the way, I was a senior in high school, decided that they had a homemaking group. And, you know, these were things that people did, you know, back then. And they had a homemaking group, and they all decided they wanted to learn to quilt. And one of the ladies was a quilter, prolific quilter. And she decided to teach them. So she basically gave each person one block to make 15 times. And they were to embroider their name and the year. And from what I can tell, Flo is the only person that did not write the year. All the others wrote their year. So they decided they were going to do that. And so they each made 15 blocks. They, I'm not going to read it to you. I read it to my husband. I made him suffer. They were the Lamplighters Friendship Group. That's what they were called. And Edna Gilbo was an experienced quilter, offered to conduct workshops and assist in the planning of the quilt. They selected each their own quilt block to make, and they agreed to make 15 squares. The coordinating materials in various patterns and shades of pinks and blues were selected. So I'm wondering if they went to my Aunt Ginger's store. Because like I said, these are fabrics that my mom used in my quilt, which it would be so cool if they did get them from Aunt Ginger's store. So then everybody, they said, okay, we're going to make these 15 blocks, bring them to the next meeting. They brought them to the next blocks. The next meeting, everybody brought their finished templates because she taught them how to cut out templates back then. They brought them and they started making them. And then when all the squares were completed, they exchanged their blocks so that each member had 15 different blocks, enough to complete a quilt top. During this get-together, everyone decided how they were going to put their squares together to form a quilt top. They selected materials for sashing and backing. Some decided to do quilt as you go, but others decided to complete the whole top before assembling for quilting. And it says, as you can see, 15 different quilt squares have blossomed into entirely different quilts, each very beautiful in its own way. Our club heartily recommends this project to other homemakers clubs. If assistance is needed, you may call our members of our club who are happy to help you become quiltaholics, quilting in a very old craft and satisfying one. The Lamplighters Homemakers Club. I'm wondering if they displayed them somewhere that this was put. So anyway, so here is the Homemakers Club Friendship Quilt. This is the layout for the 15 blocks. And these are the names of all the members who made blocks and what blocks they made. Y'all, what a treasure. What a treasure. The good thing is I have enough of my mom's and my Aunt Ginger's old quilt fabrics that I can assemble this quilt. So this is going to go into my 60 by 60 quilt top finishing pile, and I hope to make a video on the quilt finishing pile soon so that y'all can kind of see how I'm organizing things, what I'm doing, because I am allowing myself to use incomplete thrifted blocks in that plan that I have. So this is going to go into that. Like I said, I read the whole thing to my husband. He was like, that is so cool. Anyway, so this quilt is just, it's the same colors that my mom made my quilt. And so I just absolutely love it. And it was in 98 that my mom taught, 97, 98 that my mom taught my friends how to quilt. And they made a block very similar, a sampler quilt very similar to this. And so it's really kind of fun. So anyway, so that is it. That is my haul. That is my stitching. I'm excited about this. I'm going to keep all this together. I'm going to try to figure out a way to keep this history somehow or another attached to this quilt. I don't know yet, but I'm going to try to figure it out. But anyway, if anybody has any ideas, let me know. This whole letter, I don't think I want to print, but what I might do is put their names and then what blocks they did. I don't know yet. I don't know, because that would be a huge label. So I don't know if I want to do that. But anyway, that's it. That's all I have for stitching. That's all I have for haul. I don't have anything a whole lot for personal. School ends soon. My husband's going to be home. I'm thrilled. He had prom last weekend. He has graduation. I think it's next weekend. So he's got that coming up. And so we're just kind of geared into the summer mode, trying to figure out what we're going to do with all of our birthdays in May that we have. It's mine. It's Mother's Day, my daughter's birthday, my other daughter-in-law's birthday, my birthday. It's just a full month. I used to joke that May was my month. Not anymore. And then June is my son's birthday, my middle child, my youngest son, and my daughter's boyfriend's birthday and Father's Day. So it is busy, busy, busy summer. July is off except for my daddy's birthday. And then August is my other daughter-in-law and my husband's birthday. So we're busy, busy summer. So anyway, so that is all I have. Thank you so much if you stuck with me this long. Thank you so much for visiting with me today. It's good to be back making a video. I'm going to try to do this weekly like I normally do, but you never know. So anyway, so that's all I have. Again, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you doing that. And I will see you guys next week or the week after, Lord willing. Happy stitching, everyone. Bye-bye.